Assuming that my camera is live right now, I had some technical difficulties earlier, uh, but I guess I'm good now. Still trying to get used to this application. I haven't been using it as much as I should be, but I'm using it's called Prism Live Studio. It's like basically like a platform that you use to stream on YouTube, which I tried to just stream straight from YouTube, but apparently it's not letting me do that now. Not really sure why, but yeah, I had to figure out how to set it up again, which I'm still kind of getting used to it because I haven't used it that much. Um, and I'm actually at work right now, so I don't have my microphone. I'm not really sure what the sound quality is like and or how good my computer picks up the audio, but I just felt like getting on here and doing a rant. Um, so let me check one more thing. Hold on. I'm just making sure that my microphone is picking up my audio. Is it saying that YouTube is not receiving data? Let me see. Okay. But why it's not letting me? Okay, never mind. All right, I think we're good. I was just trying to make sure that my audio feed is. Hold on. Says the current stream. What? Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm not sure what's going on here. Did you do that? Did you do that? Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties. Is it giving me some type of warning message or something like that? Just leave it how it is. Saying something about the bit rate or something like that. I'm not even really sure what that means, and I don't really feel like bothering it right now. So yeah, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here and rant. I'm tired to be honest. Oh man, oh, I'm sleepy. I've just been doing like a whole lot of like thinking lately. Trying to see if I can pull up my chat. Let me see. Okay, I didn't think I had anybody up here, but just in case, uh, I got my chat up here. Let's go to live chat. Okay. Yeah, so just in case anybody wants to do a live chat, I got that going. Uh, yeah, so uh, mm-mm-mm. Yeah, so I wanted to get on here and just talk about just stuff that I be thinking about as usual. I'll be having so much stuff to talk about in my mind. It's so crazy that it took me a while to actually get this up. Because again, when I first got on here, um, like roughly like close to an hour ago, I kept trying to just connect straight to YouTube because again, I'm not really used to using this app yet. I really haven't I really haven't had much time to, get on here the way I want to because, like I said, I'm always working. And I know I say that a lot, but it's just the truth. And between just trying to, get enough sleep and get enough rest during the week, by the time I get my one day off, you know, I just don't have the energy to get on here and figure it out, which I normally still do, but you know, like I said, when it comes to just sitting down for like a whole day, my one day off, I don't feel like using my one day off to, do busy work, if that makes sense. So, you know, I just I don't know. I'm in this, weird place of I don't know, like I feel like I'm really putting forth a lot of effort and a lot of stuff, but I'm kind of like in this space of kind of being just kind of mentally exhausted of, constantly trying to get somewhere. And I just got done watching this video of, well, actually, I just got done watching two videos of two streamers that I watch well. I can't say both. I don't watch them both regularly, but it's one that I watch pretty regularly. And then the other channel I just recently started watching. One of them's Timothy Ward, and the other one's some white dude. I forget his name, but they were both kind of saying the same thing. You know, like people are kind of tired of trying to live up to some idea of, trying to reach or attain some level of success. And me personally, it's not that I'm giving up. It's just that, like I named the title of this video, everything is kind of a contradiction because, while I do kind of want to see what my potential is, it's like I also kind of feel like I'm doing a lot of the things that I'm doing to prove something because it's like in this world, it's like this world that we live in is kind of set up in a way to where everything in it kind of makes you feel like you have to be something more than what you are right now. Everybody's always talking about growth and evolution, but they talk about it in a way as if, if you don't do something and become something more, then that means that you're not doing enough, or you're not reaching your potential, or you're living like a mediocre life, and it's just made out to be like if you're not striving to become something this big deal, like doing big things and becoming like this big deal, then it's like you're basically kind of made to feel like you're not enough, and I'm kind of tired of feeling like that, even though there's things I do want to do to see what I'm capable of. I kind of feel like, again, I struggle with this feeling of feeling like in the back of my mind, what I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I feel like the world makes me feel like unless I do something and become something more. Like I need to accomplish certain things and have a certain level of success so that the world can tell me that I'm enough, you know? And it's just like it's mentally exhausting, it's spiritually exhausting to just have this constant feeling of, you know, you're not enough unless you do certain things, you know? And I feel like y'all know what I'm talking about, you know? Everybody feels like they need to accomplish something big. It's getting cold in here, y'all. I gotta turn this heat on because I didn't want to because it kind of makes it hard to hear me over the noise of it, but I'm getting kind of cold. Hopefully, y'all can still hear me over the sound of it. But I feel like everybody in this world is kind of made to feel like they need to become something. You have to do something big, you know, or you have to, leave some type of legacy. And honestly, like I do fear feeling like I'm viewed as, a failure because I did not reach some idea of what success looks like based off of, what society says success is. Even though there's a side of me that doesn't really give a shit, there's a side of me that, wants the things that this world has to offer, like love and relationships. But I also kind of realize a lot of that is an illusion anyway. For example, like there's not most relationships are not successful. Most marriages are not successful. And most women, they are with people, men that have a lot financially for the wrong reasons. Are not really with that person because of their success. They're with them because of what that success can bring to them or how they can personally benefit from, their hard work and efforts in life and what that brings. I just, I have a hard time staying committed to a lot of shit that I'm doing and finding the drive to like keep on doing it because I kind of feel double minded and kind of conflicted. You know, I just constantly feel like this world kind of makes you feel like you need to constantly do more and more and more. You need to constantly prove that you're enough by either what you have or what you have accomplished. I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling like I need to accomplish something for my value as a human being or as a man to be seen. It doesn't feel real to me. It feels like me trying to, strain myself to become successful. It's like I'm wearing this mask, you know? And I feel like whenever like I just kind of set in myself and just know for myself that I'm good as I am. And it's like I'm still open to new experiences and, new things. I'm still open to growth, but it's just not in a way to where I feel like again I have to accomplish something big to what I'm saying, to be enough, to be worthy of, basic things in life like love and commitment and, just the basic things in life. And I'm not saying that I feel like I'm entitled to, anything, but I just see so many people. I watch a lot of content, and it's all like this narrative, this ideology that you have to do really, really big things for your value and your worth to be seen as a man. When I say big things, I mean like make lots and lots and lots of money. In other words, acquire a whole lot of stuff, make lots and lots of money. And you could be a man that, you work a job, you might work two jobs, three jobs, but unless you are basically rich, you're not really seen as, you know, enough, you know. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of tired of that, you know. I definitely am. I'm tired of just seeing, it's like everybody's kind of saying the same thing. It's either like this hustle culture mentality where, it's almost like if you're a man that works a regular 9 to 5 job, it's like that's no longer good enough. You have to become, again, you have to become this thing where you have to become something so much more than what you are. And if you don't become that, you somehow failed at life. And it just feels like this big giant. In other words, I just feel like this world is kind of a trap in many ways. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, like spirituality, because spiritual people, a lot of them are saying the same thing. It's like everybody's pretty much saying that you need to become someone else to be enough. You need to accomplish something big. And if you don't do something big, it's like you're not enough. And so you spend all your time, all of your waking time, putting all this stress and pressure on yourself of trying to figure out how to accomplish all these huge, huge endeavors. And then you just sit there and you put all this weight on yourself, all this pressure, all this stress to become something. Because if you're afraid that if you don't become something, you're not going to be enough. And we live years of our life like this. Take distracted. We live whole entire years of our life like this. I don't know. It's like the human species. It's like we're obsessed with hierarchy and the need to feel like, you know, we're better than other people around us. Everybody's always talking about getting to the next level. Even people that have lots of money, they're constantly trying to get somewhere else than where they're at right now. All the rich people or the people that are doing good financially, they're trying to get more money and more power. It's like it's never enough. The 9 to 5 working man, he's trying to become rich or, wealthy, get the big house, the nice car, all the toys, because he has to prove that he's enough or to be seen as attractive and successful as a man. He has to go out and do all these things. And it's sad that we can't just connect with the opposite sex simply based off of who we are as two individuals. One of the things that's very depressing to me is I'm realizing more and more like when it comes to anything romance or love related, everything is just transactional. Everything is transactional. It's either transactional or superficial. It's either you have to have really good looks, lots of money, be rich, or both. And if you don't exist in one of those categories, it's like you're pretty much non-existent in a dating pool. You're not seen. Not only are you not seen, but you deserve to not be seen because clearly you're not working hard enough. Even though you could be working 2 and 3 jobs, getting 3 and 4 hours of sleep every day. If you're not rich, it doesn't matter. So you can be doing all the things that a man should do. But in this day and age, in this economy, this coffee right here costs $2.93. It's not even a large. It's a medium. This is medium. Look, him. I didn't realize that coffee went up that much today. But yeah, this is $2.93. It's almost $3 for a medium coffee. And everybody always says stuff like, "Oh, you gotta just invest. You gotta change, you gotta evolve, but nobody's really giving any real solutions. Everything that can change your life, it takes lots of time, it takes lots of money. And even with that, it's still a gamble. Honestly, I'm just tired of spending so much time obsessing over things that I really don't have control over. And there's so many people that say you do, but there's so much in this life that we don't control. It really is. Everybody kind of seems like they're competing to prove that they're better than the next man because nobody wants to be seen as equal. Everybody wants to be seen as superior than everybody else. Everybody's always saying stuff like, oh, I got to get to the next level. And, oh, you can't take everybody with you. Everybody's trying to be on the next level. Everybody's trying to leave other people behind because they want to prove that they're successful or that, you know, I don't even know. But everybody's trying to prove this idea of, you know, success, whether it's through their possessions or through their possessions or how much money they have. Everybody's trying to prove something. Nobody really feels like they're enough. Everybody is desperately trying to prove that they're better than everybody else. Or they're just struggling financially, and that subconsciously makes them feel like, you know, if they're struggling financially, it's because, they're lacking something as a human being in value or something like that. So they have to prove that they're better than everybody else. It's just like so much about this life and this reality. It seems so toxic to the soul, and I'm not against expansion, and I am for expansion, but I'm for expansion and growth in a way that's not forced, in a way that isn't poisonous to my soul. That's better. It's like that guy said on his channel. He was very right. It's a mental illness. It's a sickness. We can't see like how toxic our way of thinking is. You know, you go on to bed anxious thinking that, you're not doing enough because you're not rich. You're waking up anxious because you feel like you have to hurry up and figure out how to make more money. And it's like no matter how hard you work, unless you have something to show for it, everyone's like, oh, you deserve to be poor because you're not working 7 days a week. You shouldn't have no days off if you're not rich. It's like this toxic hustle culture. Nobody's really happy. Everybody's, keeping up this facade of, it's like, oh, I'm like this badge of honor. I only get 1 day of sleep, 5 hours of sleep a week because I'm out here hustling trying to get this money. And it's like you really can't avoid it because you have to be around people. And when you're around people that think like that, then you start to think like that. But then one day you kind of snap out of it and go, why do I have to prove, my worth, my life is valuable? Why do I need to prove, why do I have to do all these extensive things? You know, why can't I just live a basic life? Why can't that be enough? Why do I have to prove that I'm enough by getting rich? I'm not against rich or being wealthy because I do want to live comfortably. I do want to live well. I do want to live abundantly. But I can live abundantly and not need to do all these huge, elaborate things to prove that I'm worth something and my life is valuable and I'm valuable as a man. I'm constantly tired. I always feel sleepy because my sleep patterns are just out of whack, or I just have a hard time falling asleep, or I'm just anxious in general and I have a hard time sleeping. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, it just feels like time is just slipping past me. You know, time just feels like it's just moving by extremely fast. The years seem to be going by faster and faster. And I'm just trying to put together a plan to get something to work. Like I'm at the point where I just want to say fuck it all because I'm not. The more time goes by, the more I have a hard time seeing the point of any of this. Everybody just kind of seems to be like desperately running around again, trying to prove something, trying to prove their worth, about how successful they are. Everybody's exhausted mentally and physically. I come to work, the guy I work with here, that I relieve when I come in the shit, when I come to clock in to my shift. I think he has a second job somewhere else working security. When I get here, the guy just he looks exhausted. For the way that we work, we all just have these really shitty quality of life. You know, you fall asleep because you're tired, you working two jobs, you don't have time to yourself. And then if you talk about it, oh, you can't complain. Be grateful. Be grateful. I don't know. I'm just having one of those days or weeks where I'm just, I just fluctuate from being motivated and feeling driven, and then kind of just getting out of that mold and realizing how much pressure I'm putting onto myself by feeling like I need to accomplish something to be enough. And I'm like, why do I feel like I need to accomplish something just to prove something that I'm, or that to prove that I'm enough? Because I feel like I cannot be at peace until I accomplish getting rich or getting a lot of money or, something like that. That's what it feels like. Oh, I actually took off another week, starting next week from this job right here. I'm using the rest of my vacation time. I don't know if I'll actually go anywhere or not, but I won't be working this job. I'll be off from like for like all week. So I don't know if I'm going to just sleep, go somewhere. I don't know. But I'm going to start looking again for like places to move. I was going to, make all these extra plans and arrangements to, you know, pay off all of my stuff before I, went to go move and stuff like that. But I just feel like the more I wait around, I kind of feel like the more I kind of get stuck on this timeline. And I just realized that the more I try to plan things out perfectly, the more stuck I feel. It's like the more things happen to kind of discourage me from actually doing what I want to do and making my life what I want it to be. You know, it's like the more I kind of stay in this same reality, the longer I stay in this reality, it's like the more this reality or this timeline kind of has a hold of me. And my one of my fears is eventually I'm going to forget, you know, my dreams and my goals of what I want to do because trying to get there is going to be it's going to get so heavy that I'm going to forget that I was even trying to work towards something, you know, and I'm going to just give up and just get stuck in some timeline that I didn't want to stay in. And I keep trying to plan things out the best that I can, but trying to be responsible and think things through, trying to get my business off the ground. But honestly, yeah, that just feels daunting. I'm working with this chat GPT and it's very quirky, it's very hit and miss. I'm staying up late trying to do designs. I'm getting off work, staying up trying to figure out how to finish designs. trying to figure out how to do this, trying to do that, and I'm just like, just driving myself crazy, basically, trying to hurry up and accomplish and do big things because, you know, I've gotta change if I want to manifest. I gotta, become somebody else, so I gotta prove that. It's just nuts, man. It's just nuts. And the crazy part is, the amount of work that some people put in to prove something to everyone else around them, other people don't have to do that. It's like there's such a double standard on stuff like that when it comes to certain people versus other people. And when you see it for what it is, you just shake your head like it's just nuts. Me personally, I just realize how fake everything is now. You know, how everybody's trying to hold on to an image, to this idea of who they are. Everybody's trying to hold on to this illusion of status because everybody needs to feel like they're a big deal. You see it all the time on Facebook. People are talking about other people, and spiritual people do it all the time. Anytime somebody says stuff like, "Oh, these people are low vibrational people," and I'm just like, and I've said it before, spirituality is another trap. Spirituality is another trap of the ego. You know, when I first, started looking into spirituality, I thought that it was you know, the final level of consciousness and awareness, but it's not. There is truth in spirituality, but spirituality is very much another trap as well. You get stuck in these boxes of awareness in thought, and people tell you these things, and once they become your truth, you stop looking outside of these ideas or belief systems. You know, for example, people, they'll say something like, "Oh, if anything bad is happening in your life, it's because your vibration is low, or you have limiting beliefs." And I'm like, no, I think bad things happen whether you have limiting beliefs or not. It's like this same constant thing of, God is punishing you or going to send you to hell if you don't have good enough energy, or you're not happy enough or positive enough. And I'm like, I was talking to somebody on my live yesterday. I'm like, I don't feel like there's a God in the sky that's just like, well, you were in a bad mood today, so that means you have to be in a lower realm or something like that because you weren't happy enough, or you weren't grateful enough, or your frequency was too low. It's just like it's the same thing. It's this constant guilt trip. It's this constant shaming thing where if you feel bad, you have to feel bad about feeling bad. If anything bad happens in your life, well, it's your fault. You somehow created it. So it's like, anything bad that happens, it's your fault. You created it. You didn't learn some lesson. You have to learn another lesson, or you have to heal some more. Even if you're doing all the things that you can to avoid these lessons or this trauma, even if you're trying to put forth more effort in changing your reality, it's like nothing ever really seems to be good enough. Your vibration never really seems to be high enough. Your energy is never pure enough. Your frequency is never high enough. It's like no matter how much praying and worshiping you do, you're still just a sinful human being that, doesn't deserve life. But God's going to give it to you because He's merciful. But you don't deserve it, though, because you're not holy enough. That's like what spirituality feels like to me. And honestly, I'm just tired of spirituality. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the I'm tired of the doctrine. I'm tired of all of it. I don't think that it's good for your mental health because all it does is it teaches you like it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't feel good all the time, it's not enough. You're not being positive enough. I may or may not release this video. I may or may not actually make it public. I may just, make it delete it or make it private. I don't know. Got a truck coming in here. He should know where to park at though. Yeah, but if I can find me a truck, a reliable truck, I'm gonna try to just do this whole traveling thing again. You know, I'm at the point now where I want a new chapter. You know, I want a new chapter, and it's not even that I feel like going somewhere else is going to make me happier because wherever I go, I'm going to still have myself. But I'm just ready to experience something else, and I just feel like the longer I stay here, eventually I'm going to just completely give up on what I want to do and feel like it's not possible. So I don't want to fall into that trap, you know, because I get really discouraged some days and I doubt myself, you know. And when you're by yourself, you don't really have anybody to, talk to about certain stuff. It's like it's all kind of on you. Not to mention all the other things that you have going on mentally in your mind that you struggle with on top of this. It's like every day is kind of starting to feel like Groundhog Day. Every day is kind of like starting to feel the same. You know, I feel like the harder I work, the more I try to save money. Something happens where I have to spend a whole bunch of money. So all the money I saved up ends up like going down the drain, you know, saving up like 10, 15 grand, and then you have to end up spending like 5 grand on something. It's just like, what the fuck, man? All that was for nothing. Or you're trying to save up to invest in something, then something else happens, or somebody needs money. That's happened too, where you've had to like people around me, they needed money for something. Oh, I need money. So you end up giving them money, taking out of your savings, which takes more time, which delays, what you're trying to do or where you're trying to go. It always seems like something major happens when you get close to your goal or saving goal or moving goal. It's like there's always something that happens. And I'm just realizing more and more like I'm never going to have the perfect opportunity. I'm never going to be prepared to move. I'm never going to actually be in the ideal situation to do what I want to do. Something's going to happen. Something's going to break down. Or you lose your job. I had a whole bunch of stuff happen while I've been trying to do this. I've been having my SUV has been having issues. My motorcycle has broken down like 3 or 4 times. My Grom is broken down. I've lost my jobs. Luckily, I'm still working with the same company, but it's under a different contract. My pay went down. I've had to put money into things. My savings went down. I'm just realizing more and more it's gonna always be something. My plan was to pay off, a lot of stuff and, have my business off the ground for extra income. But I'm kind of just getting to the point where I'm just like, man, fuck it. Either you're gonna do this or you're not. You're gonna either do it or you're not. So 2026, like this year, is I gotta do something by this year, man. I'm not trying to stay here a whole another year. I mean, I was going to, but the more I think about it, it's like a whole host of other problems can happen while I'm thinking that, oh, I got, by the end of this time, I'll reach this goal. And it's like, yeah, but something else can happen though that can set you back again. You can lose your job, you can lose your income, anything can happen. So just assuming that, I'm gonna just do this, on this time frame, assuming that I'm not gonna have any hiccups or anything, it's just kind of it's ignorant. It is ignorant. I've just learned that, if you're gonna do something, you're gonna either do it or you're not. It is scary. It's scary. It's really scary. I'm terrified of making a decision and then, realize now I'm fucked. But I'm like, you know what? The same thing can happen here. The same thing can happen here. The worst feeling though is like feeling like you're trying really, really hard and feeling like, people still feel like you're not. I feel so anxious all the time. I feel so fucking anxious. And some days, the only way that I can get rid of my anxiety is to smoke. I'm anxious about trying and feeling like I need to make more progress in my life, like I'm not progressing fast enough. I'm anxious about feeling stuck. I'm constantly stressing myself out because the things that I'm trying to do and to create and to build, it all seems like it just keeps getting delayed or there's some type of hold up. When I can't finish a design, I get super anxious. I feel super defeated. We put so much pressure on ourselves to succeed and be successful. Like, I literally go to sleep some nights, like, just anxious as fuck, thinking about how I have to become better and how I have to be successful, because if I don't become successful, then I'm a fucking failure. Because, again, apparently I have to do and accomplish, a lot of shit to be enough. If I don't have a really nice car, and wear shiny chains and, wear jewelry and, have this image of being a successful man, then I'm a loser, basically. By society standards, apparently, even if I'm working 2 or 3 jobs, even if I'm only getting like 5 hours of sleep, even if I'm trying my best to figure out how to start my own business, if I haven't somehow figured out how to do that, I'm a loser, basically. I live off of this stuff right here. Fucking coffee. I gotta get out of this life, man. I see that it's a trap. And don't get me wrong, I know I have a lot better than other people. You have to always say you're thankful because you have a job, right? You have to always include that. And I am. I really am thankful. But I kind of start to feel like when you get so worn out mentally and physically, I just feel like something happens to you. Like you kind of start to feel like a zombie. I mean, you're living this life that, isn't really what you want to do. It's weird. It's like you kind of just become numb. A lot of things I can't put into words, but it's like a feeling that, you're surrendering to a reality or a timeline against your will. So yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting to make this a reality, because there's just more out there to experience, to see, to do, and time isn't waiting for nobody. I thought that if I waited to prepare more and put myself in a perfect situation, that was a more responsible way to go about, traveling and being a nomad and seeing different places and living in different places. But I'm realizing like there's no safe way to do this, because even if I did that, something could still go wrong. You know, like there's no way to get around it. It's going to be risky either way. It's going to be risky either way. You can get out there and work isn't as available as I thought. You know, might break down, might get stranded. My main concern is income, where I'm going to park my RV at, and my vehicle's integrity. You know, but I just know the longer I wait, the easier it is to give up. And I'd rather go out there and have something go wrong than just give up on getting this new reality of mine, started basically. I would rather fail than just keep waiting. So I'm going to probably end up looking at a truck, probably ASAP. I'm just tired of, I have money saved up still. I'm at the point now where I'm like, you know what? Just take the money you have, look for a job somewhere in the area that you want to go to, look for an RV park that's, reasonably affordable, and just fucking go, man. Just fucking go. Just get this timeline going. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, just go. Just go. Make sure you have a job wherever you're going. Find a halfway affordable RV park. Find a job in the area, and just say fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. Because I know what's going to happen. All I'm going to do is say, "Oh yeah, I'm planning to do all this and I'm planning to do all that," and then before I know it, a whole another year or 2 years or 3 years going by, and I'm still saying, "Yeah, once I'm ready to go, once I have this and once I have that, you know, then I'll be ready to go." First it was I had to get my towing hitch, my weight distribution hitch. I got that. I had that installed. Then, well, first it was I had to get some, SUV work done. I got that done. Then something else broke on my SUV, right? Then I had to get the weight distribution hitch. But after I got that, something broke on my SUV. So now I feel like it's not really good to carry my trailer long distances. It can do it, but it's probably not a good idea. Anyway, I don't know. I'm about to end this live here now. I'm not even sure if I'm going to upload this or not. Because I just was kind of all over the place as usual. But I'm gonna probably like after I do my second round, get on here and just kind of look at some vehicles and look at some campgrounds for long term stay, and just look at jobs in different states that I'm interested in staying, and just kind of start looking again, trying to make something happen. I got enough for a down payment for a bigger truck. So, my main concern is just having a reliable vehicle. Everything else I'll figure out once I get wherever I'm going. Um, I'm probably going to just trade my SUV in. I may trade my car in too because I really don't need two vehicles. If I can get a truck that has enough power to tow my vehicle, and then something. Cause eventually, I'm gonna buy a new RV, but I'm gonna keep the one I have for now. But I want to get a truck that's capable of towing something bigger than what I have. But I wanted to also have decent gas mileage. So I don't know because most trucks that can tow heavier weight, they're usually gas guzzlers. So, you know, but I really don't want to have two vehicles wherever I'm going. I would rather save money and just have a newer vehicle. And, I don't know, maybe pay extra gas. I don't know, but I may just end up, Ubering wherever I go, depending on, you know, I don't know. I have to figure it out. But I know those bigger trucks, they use a lot of gas. So whatever I get, if I'm just going to have my truck primarily, it has to be fuel efficient. So, that's what I'm looking at. Something with like a V8, um, maybe like an Eco D. I got to see what's out there. But whatever I get, it has to be big enough to pull. I mean, at least 12,000 pounds. Well, I would say it's 13 to 14,000 pounds. That size trailer is, I mean, I want something bigger, but I can find something in that weight range that can fit me. My camper right now weighs like 6,000 pounds dry weight. When it's loaded down, it's like seven something, but some of the other ones I want that have a little bit more living space, they're like in an 8,000, 9,000 dry weight category. So I'm gonna look around here shortly tonight or today and see, what my options are for the most fuel efficient but truck that has, enough torque to, pull something that weighs, at least 10K or 10,000 pounds, dry. And then weigh it down, you're looking at 11 to 12,000 pounds. So I'm looking for a truck that can pull something like that. Hopefully I can find an eco diesel in that class where I can, pull a little bit more weight and still, have, decent gas mileage for that size vehicle or for that, that class of vehicle. If I can find that, yeah, I'm gonna move on it. I'm gonna just say fuck it, let's do it. And then by like, mid next year, by summertime, I'll have found an actual place to move to and just go. It's like, man, all this waiting around, all it's gonna do is just discourage me more and more and more. And then more and more stuff is going to keep happening to, give me a reason to keep waiting and waiting and putting it off and putting it off. Well, this happened or that broke down. Oh, now I lost my job. Oh, now I got laid off. You know what I'm saying? It's going to always be something that's going to happen before I get to, the finish line. It's always going to be something. So, yeah, man. It's like 2026. It's got to be the year. Like, if I don't do it this year, it's not going to happen because you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you know. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I can't say that, but it's just the way things happen. It's just going to keep getting pushed off more and more and more. And before you know it, 5, 10 years is going to go by and I'm still in the same place. Time goes by so fast, you know, like time don't wait for nobody. So anyway, I'm going to get on that today after I do my round, my patrol around the building. And yeah, try to make this thing happen for me, not for anybody else. It's just for me. This is what I want. This was my creation. This is my thing. It has nothing to do with anybody else. I just want that to be known first and foremost. But anyway, I'm going to end this stream here. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to if I'm going to post this or not. If I do, you'll see. If not, then you won't, I guess. Anyway, later. If I can get out of here. The screen's messing up.